ladies and gentlemen, game day. Anzac Day, looking forward to it. It'll be my first time heading to the G and soaking up the event that is, or the celebration commemorating the soldiers. It'll be good fun, and a new experience, which is something we always crave as human beings, don't we? Benny says, big day, big game, come on, Collingwood. Stefanos says, good morning, all. A very good morning. Kalimera. Kalimera, Stefanos. Stuart says, married to an Essendon supporter. Tense day today. That's tough, man. That is tough. Look, it could be worse. I feel like if your wife was a Carlton supporter, you'd have some serious dramas in the house. It does help that Essendon haven't been great for a very long time. So, you know, if Essendon and Collingwood are at the pinnacle of the AFL, that's when you're going to have some serious household issues. That's a real Stuart, when you have you had kids with your partner? Surely they're going to assume the black and white, right? Collingwood dog. Anzac games are one of the best games to get to. Have you been, Stefanos? Lest we forget. Connor says, "Come on, the Pies. Gonna be there supporting them. Huge. Oh, wrong way. Nick Dacos, standing captain, level unlocked. Right. Let's get the countdown going. How long till the game starts? Is it 3:20? Is it 3:20, right? So, again, I'm going to challenge my mathematics, but it's generally pretty horrible. So, 5 hours, yeah? That's 318 minutes. Am I on the money there? How's that? That's right. 5 hours, and that's pretty much on the money, isn't it? Let me know. 3:20. Yeah, 3:20. So is that it? 5 hours and 17 minutes to go. I would have thought that's pretty good. That's pretty sharp. Mark, morning, mate. Looking forward to a contest as Bombers tend to bring it on Anzac Day. I know I've been seeing your comments lately, Mark. I know you don't mind backing against us just so that you're not disappointed if we lose. I see your strategies. I see your... Call it a superstition, if you will. I know you've been saying Isaac Kako is going to kick 5, blah, blah, blah. No, I see that. Yorgos Danidis says, not happy Cox isn't playing well. If you look outside, it is quite sunny. So is there a world where we see Lockie Sullivan unfortunately get the axe again very late and we just bring in Cox? The weather is actually, it's genuinely not too bad. People were saying 25 mil, but I'm looking at Weather Zone. I'm looking at the app. What's it saying? 0.2 millimeters? 0.3? 0.3? It's not that bad, right? Today, 5 to 10 millimeter of rain. Interesting. Peter says, I'm heading in soon, catching the earlier train. I said, just everyone try and get in earlier than the previous game. I think there's going to be some real big safety parameters that are going to be implemented by security, given the magnitude of this game and what happened. Was it the Carlton game? So I'm sure, yeah, get in there early. I'll be heading off shortly after this pre-game show, so I'm going to get in there really early. Coverage starts at 2. Question about the game, says Benny. Do you think Sullivan will be sub or will Fly choose someone else? Look, if the weather stands strong, I think Mason Cox could be a late in. And I think Sullivan will be the sub if he does make the final 23. What do you think, Benny? You reckon we go Sullivan the sub, or do we put someone else in there? Sash says, will weather play a role today? Yeah, weather always plays a role. Look at opening round. What else was tough? What has been tough lately? That was probably the toughest conditions the Pies have played in. Yeah, rain Rain tipped late in the Arvo. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not too significant during the game. Am I going to the game? Says Cooper. I'll be there. I'll be there. Are you going to be there? Good morning, The Farm. The Farm established 1918. What is that YouTube name in reference to? The Farm established 1918. Yeah, hopefully a great day for a win, and then a great day for a post-game show as well. We'll get it quite early. We'll probably do it at about 6:30. Cox would have more impact regardless, says Matt, even despite the vicissitudes of Melbourne weather that is potentially fronting us today. So, yeah, you could make the case he's still going to bring the ball to the deck. I'm just worried about his ground ball efforts in the wet weather. Sullivan would have to be the sub, says Peter. You'd think. Yeah. Maybe Will Hoskin Elliott. You think about it, right? If it's wet weather, you could very well put Lockie Sullivan in as that small forward and then just put Hoskin Elliott as a sub. That's the only other alternative, I think, as far as subs are concerned. We have McStay, Brody, and Tim Membry. So if you put Cox on that side, might be too tall. We did that last week, though, Benny. We did that last week, and it worked pretty well. Coop says, I'll be there. Don't you worry about that. Love that. Big dog. Stefano says, yes, back in the early games, the Army helicopter would hover over the centre circle while the soldiers slid down on ropes to deliver the football to the umpires. That's elite. Why don't we do that anymore? When did they stop doing that? Yeah, Brody, you mean Benny? Two dads is the sub, says Izarali. Two dads is the sub. What does that mean? What am I missing there, Izarali? What does that even mean? Big milestone for Chris. I thought they'd celebrate a little bit more, tying the record of Jim Steins. I would have thought. But I suppose now they're just saving it for the big one against Geelong, where he breaks the record. I think equaling it is just as important, no? It could be the hyphen as a sub, Peter. Two dad. Well, why does he have two fathers, Israeli? Two dads. Give me context, mate. Come on. I can't read your mind. I don't know the family history of every single Collingwood player. Come on. A game day. Yes. It's the calm before the storm, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Big game. Big contest. Two surnames, brother. I see. Okay, I'm there. I'm with you, Israeli. I got you. Galimera Antonos Vaveris. Antonos Vaveris. Galimera, go the Pies, flyers, strategic players, just like great Alexander. I love it. I run my family farm. It has always been referred to as the farm. My great-grandfather moved here and built the house in 1918. My grandfather took over in the 60s. Then my dad took over the 90s. Now me. That's some serious history there. Whereabouts is it? The farm. If I pop in a little Google search, am I any chance of finding it? The farm, 1918. If I search the farm, it does come up with Gallipoli. The map below indicates that the farm was connected by a road running northwest behind Little Tabletop and Borkup Hills. Okay. Anyhow. I won't find it. DC to be the Anzac Day medalist, he should destroy Goldstein and be the dominant big man around the ground. My heart says that it wants Bruzzy to win the Anzac Day medal. My brain says it will be either a DC or a Nick Dacos. Just over the SA border. Got you. Yeah, that's sick. So, what are our predictions, ladies and gents? Do we have some player predictions, some game predictions? While we're here, I want to. I've hardly been. Manny says I've got people at the game today to watch you there. You better be up and about. You got people hawkeyeing me, huh? Have you got a PI on my back? Hey, Slobbo. Hey, bro. Smashing a sausage and egg McMuffin meal right now. That would go down hard right now, wouldn't it? You reckon Nick or Dan Cooper? Bobby Hill, Anzac medal? You know, I kind of just want to see what Collingwood's statistical profile looks like as of late. It's not something I've kept a close eye on in 2025. But we've got what? We've played 6 games. Now would be a fair time to have a look at. So what's this? Forward half what? Forward half. Anyways. All right. So there's some new stats that we can look at. Kick rating. I might share the screen. So I can show you what I'm seeing. Dell built-in retina display. All right. All right, let's have a look. So, Collingwood's threat rating, what does that even mean? Let's have a read. What does threat rating mean? Threat rating, where are you, brother? This is a great website, guys, if you want stats. It's called WillowRatings.com. We'll do that. I might make this smaller, eh? Okay. So kick rating. Kick ratings have been developed by Crow Data. Retention is how likely a kick is to be retained by a teammate. Threat is how likely a kick is to result in a shot at goal later in the chain. So Collingwood are in the top 8 for that. What about our retention? Should be high, no, the way we're playing. Okay. Top 6 there or top 7 there. Disposal to turnover, how are we looking there? We're decent with the ball. This doesn't make sense. How is North Melbourne? North Melbourne have been the turnover kings. How have they got a good disposal to turnover rate? And general forward half. What does that mean? Time in forward half. Okay, I reckon we'd have a high amount of time in forward half the way we've been playing. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good metric. If you keep the ball in the forward half, what happens? We're able to defend easier, right? Do you know what I mean? Okay. So, that's interesting. What else have we got cooking? First possession. Carlton obviously really good at that. First possession to clearance. Collingwood a top 5. Contested marks. How do we fare there? Not too bad with the triple M's. You know what I mean? Intercept marks, probably not too high there. Yeah, nah. This is what matters. Look at that. Where are we? Oh. Goals per inside 50, 23% is not ideal, but our scoring shots per inside 50 should be decent. 20, so we're about 6 there. Forward half, scoring origin, we should be all right there. Top 6. We're doing well we've been doing well from centre bounce. I reckon transition, chain to score. What does that mean? Chain to score. Proportion of all chains that resulted in a score, okay? D50 to forward 50, not quite there. But D50 to forward 50 is quite hard. D50 to score. Defensive half, top 8. Defensive half to score, top 4. Tackles, we should be up there, top 4. I think if we go last 5 games, our numbers will be pretty much top 2, right? Tackles, top 3. Not there. Top 4. Not there. Top 3, that's good. Chain to score. 23% of our chains lead to a goal. Centre bounce not there. Forward half, top 4. Defensive half, top 4. Score some turnover, top 3. Stoppages, top 8. Kick-ins are hard to score from, so don't worry about that. Yeah, 59 is massive. The average is like 48. Top 2 in the last 5 games, scoring shots per inside 50. Top 5 for goals per inside goals for every 25% of the time we go inside 50, we score a goal in the last 5 games. All right, enough of that. All right, catch up to the comments. Peter G says, actually, Houston owes us a big game after the stupid suspension. He may win it. That's a fair call, Peter. Do you think we need to trade Braz and Cameron so we can try and bring in Rao with all our draft picks we need for our NGA? Look, something's going to have to give. We can go into a draft deficit as well. So, sort of like use a credit card for the present and give up some draft value next year, which I think could very well happen. We're probably going to see McCarthy and McGuan in the first round of the draft. If you lose Bobby Hill, DC, or Braz, then you're going to get some sort of picks back coming your way. You throw in trying to get like a Matt Rowell or someone who's under contract. It's going to be difficult this year. Our best bet is to go for unrestricted free agents in the off season, which is what we did with Membry, who was delisted free agent, and then what we did with Perriman, who was an unrestricted free agent. Stuart says, I would like a great overall team performance like we have had the last few. It would be nice if the stars align, but it doesn't always work out like that, especially on an Anzac day. Mark says, were you happy with Nick's appointment as acting captain? As many I've seen wanted Braz, but Bont did it many times from age 21. From what we've gathered, what we can assume, or what I would assume, is Braz was in that meeting and Braz said, let Nick have it. Let Nick have it. He hasn't been captain yet. Brazzy's been standing captain before. This means more to this man than it would to Brazzy at this point. So that's where I stand with that. Cooper says, trade JDG, getting older and too many injuries. The thing is, right now, with the way Geordie's going, think of it honestly, what trade value are you going to get out of DeGoey? Like, nobody's trading 2 first-round picks for a 29-year-old, and teams would be apprehensive to even dish out a first-round pick to DeGoey, given his injury history. So at this point, I think we just trust the process. We know DeGoey will get right for the finals, or at least we hope so. If he gets to the finals, that's all that matters. That's all that matters, in my opinion. He could average fucking 10 touches and half a goal a game until the final series. I don't care, because we all know what we get from DeGoey once it gets to the final series, you know? Mark says, are the Pies playing today? Thought we had a bye. Oh, don't be saying that. Braz should be given the captain's armband, says Israeli. Chris says, Collingwood. Lest we forget, MD, hope you're well. Ramage says, hey Ant, how does Logan Morris not get fined or at least a week for pushing more into the back? And how can TV commentators say that his vertigo had nothing to do with the incident? Very annoying. Yeah, so your first point, unfortunately this system, this adjudication system for suspensions is very outcome based. Very outcome based. Had Darcy Moore being knocked out on the spot there, Logan Morris gets 3-4 weeks. But because the outcome didn't pan out like that, he walks off scot-free. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. It's so dumb. You don't need a law. You don't need a court to adjudicate that. It's just common sense, which we tend to lack. And then the commentator is saying that vertigo has nothing to do. It could think about it, right? He has a knock to his ear. He's bleeding from his inner ear. There's every chance that the vertigo could be related to that knock. Every chance. But until we find out more from the specialist, we'll hold our breath. What streaming service is better, Fox or 7? Metro, I like Fox because I don't have to listen to BT. But then you do have to bear with Dermy and Kelly Underwood at times. Has anybody else experienced Channel 7 streaming live footy where the sound drops out for a second or two every minute or so? Not. I don't use Channel 7. I use KO. Seven's still better than KO. It's always delayed by 3 minutes. KO does have a delay, but if you're not live streaming it, then it's okay. I suppose it's okay to be a little bit behind, don't you think? It could be a sign that Maynard could be gone to the end of the year mark, for sure. There is a world where we have to think about that. Voidoid Generation says, I still think an unfit to goey still needs opponents to watch him. Of course, he's still kicking goals. And he kicked some crucial goals against Carlton. He kicked goals in the second half against Brisbane. He's still a threat. Oh, very disappointed. My son gave his ticket to the game to his older sister. Very disappointed. Hopefully she enjoys it then. Yeah, I don't know, Ramage. I don't know. Does Darcy Moore miss a week or does he miss more? I think we'll find out over the next few days. I'm hoping it's nothing serious, but he's seeing some specialists at the moment, so we'll find out sooner rather than later. We'll find out sooner rather than later, won't we? Kyle Langford's back, huh? It's a timely return. Hopefully his hamstring doesn't hold up. Be interesting. They've gone tall. We're very small. I think TJ and Dean should feel stiff in not being selected, not even being in the emergencies. That's how confident we are in going small today. Which is, yeah, if you have, that's got to be a chip on TJ's shoulder moving forward. You don't want to pick me. You've only got one recognised genuine tool. I know TJ isn't a key tool, but he can play tall. After playing well in the VFL, he'd be stiff. So he should be. But take that. Use that energy. Manifest it and turn it into something in the VFL and give the selection panel no choice but to select him next time. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Hopefully the heavy rain stays away. Enjoy the game, but also remember those who sacrificed for this country. Pies by 42. Love that, Peter. Thomas Tasso Ganavas says, tuning in from Tokyo. Welcome, brother. Chris says, we need to stop Peter Wright, Merritt, and Langford today. There's some pretty good players. Peter Wright, how many did he kick against West Coast? Let's have a look. We will have a look. So they'd be coming off like a, what? They played Saturday, did they? Or did they play Saturday? No, they played Friday. So they've had 7 days. So Peter Wright got the full allotment of coaches' votes, 10. 17 touches. Only one contested mark. 8 shots, 6 goals, 1. It's a big return, isn't it? Big return. What was their scoring profile like? It's quite low scoring, wasn't it? It was, yeah. They defended stoppages pretty well. They actually conceded quite a bit from turnover against West Coast. They dominated from centre bounce, so got to be mindful of that. Taking that form in. Who's playing in the midfield these days for Essendon? You got Will Setterfield. How'd he go? 20 touches, 6 contested possessions, 5 clearances. Okay. Where's he been? Has he been injured for a while? Will Setterfield, he's back. Zach Merritt, Sam Draper, obviously not going to be there. Durham was there. Dylan Shield's actually been playing in the middle as well, hasn't he? 5 clearances. He's been good. He's got to watch out for Shield in the middle. Kick a goal as well. Who else played midfield? Let's see. Ben Hobbs got some time. He's been playing okay, 15 touches. Who else was kicking goals? Peter Wright. My mate Jeremy for an Essendon supporter says, enjoy the win today, mate. He's setting it up. He's foreshadowing. Nah. Don't be like that. Don't be like that, Jez. I know what you're trying to do here. He's under-promising himself so that Essendon can over-deliver. Are you going to the game? Smart ass Essendon supporters. He says, enjoy the win today, mate. I know what you're doing. I've been there. Hey, calm down. Hey. Sheila's been playing halfback. He's been playing quite a bit in the midfield as well, Stuart. He spent 60% of his time in the midfield against West Coast. So maybe he rolls. I know he started the season as a halfback flanker, but then they quickly changed that, didn't they? I was laughed at when I said we should try to bring Peter Wright to the club a couple of years ago. He's been good, hasn't he? He's been good. He's served Essendon well, that's for sure. Chris says Ned Long to win the Anzac Day medal today. Manny says, I wonder how Nick is feeling. Mate, what did you say? I wonder how Nick is feeling. He be okay. Peter will talk to him. He's been standing captain before. It's always good to rest on the Macedonian marvel, isn't it, Manny? You know what I'm saying? What do you say? Essendon says, Jeremy says, it's a foregone conclusion. When you compare the sides on paper and look at our history in games, when there's a little something on the line. A foregone conclusion. I'm not buying that, Jez. I'm not buying that, mate. I'm not buying that. I'm just not having that from an Essendon supporter 5 hours before a game. I'm not buying that. Yeah, I'll be at the game. Kev says, second game back for Wright. He should have to do some ruck work, but we will dominate the hitouts and Nick Dacos as a second Anzac Day medalist. I'm pretty sure. So it's the Anzac Day medal tally is tied. I think it's Pendlebury and James Hird that lead. Anzac Day medal tally. Pretty sure, yeah, Pendles has got 3. You know what? Might be worth putting a cheeky something on Scott Pendlebury to be the Anzac Day medalist. Where is it? Where's the record? I want to see the record. AFL Anzac Day medal winners list, I guess. Don't know why they're making this so hard. I just want to see who's leading. All right. Never boo a champion. Shame on anyone who boos a champion. Hey, Matt. What is the Anzac Day medal tally for Collingwood and Essendon? Like I said, I'm pretty sure Pendlebury's right there. Give me a list of who has the most to the least. Come on, ChatGPT. Cook. Yeah, so Scott Pendlebury has 3. Hird has 3. Swanee has 2. Sav has 2. Andrew McGrath 1. Nick Dacos 1. Ginnivan 1. Merit 1, side bottom 1. I'd love to see Scott Pendlebury get an Anzac Day medal. He's been really good, hasn't he, Pendles? Let's have a look at his stats. We'll filter it to Collingwood. Who's running hot for the Pies right now? Collingwood. Who's our highest rated player for the season? Nick Dacos is our highest rated player for the season. Steel side bottom number 2. DC number 3. Houston number 4. Moore number 5. And number 6 is Ned Long. Very nice. Sidebottom already has 24 coaches' votes. Mate, this guy is gonna bloody steal some Brownlow votes at the end of this year. Steal Sidebottom, that's for sure. Nick Dacos averaging 30.8 disposals. What's Pendlebury doing? Pendlebury is averaging 21 touch or nearly 22 touches a game. Who's our scorer involvement god? Bobby Hill, Nick Dacos, and Bo all averaging a goal assist a game, which is very nice. JDG, get this right. JDG is averaging 11 touches a game, but he's got 6.3 score involvements per game, which is the second most behind Nick Dacos. That is the epitome of impact, and that is why De Goey, fit or not, needs to be in our side. 25% of his touches lead to score involvements. Now, that doesn't sound right. Score involvement percentage. How's that 25%? If Geordie averages 11 touches, how is his score involvement percentage 25%? That doesn't equate, does it? Oh, okay. So that makes sense. So he's involved. Jordan De Goey is involved in 25% of the team's scoring involvements this year. And what's considered elite? Nick Dacos is at 28%, and that's largely because he's able to play on the outside now and dispose of the ball to a high quality thanks to Ned Long. Who has the most ridiculous score involvement percentage for the team? Well, Peter Wright. Max Scorn, 37%. Toby Green, 36%. Shai Bolton, 35%. Cozzy, 34%. Petrarca, 34%. Okay, some really big numbers there, hey. Tony says the one who gets the most touches wins a medal. The Anzac, the midfielder's medal. Nick will explode today's captain and have a 45-plus disposal game with 3 goals. Michali says, where's the downpour? Need to bring Mason Cox in? We'll see. We'll see. The weather's looking immaculate right now. Bobby Dazzler to have a big game and possibly win the medal. He's due to have a big one. MD says, I'm still tipping Steel. Hoyne saying on SEN that JDG, when in the top 5 players on the field, Collingwood win 80% of the time. It's a nice little handy stat. He's an impact player, isn't he? You don't trade match winners, says Stefanos. But when you don't score much, you're going to have... So I was going to say that because there's quite a number of Melbourne and Fremantle players in the score involvement department, and they're not teams that are kicking big scores at the moment. And Peter Wright he's only played 1 game, was a part of 40% of their scoring change against West Coast. Toby Green, maybe? Let's have a look at the ladder so we can have a look at GWS are kicking goals, aren't they? They're doing all right. Let's have a look. Points for 521's decent, you'd like to think. So, yeah, you look at Toby Green. He's a part of 36% of GWS's scoring chains. That's impressive. Just want to have a look at Fremantle, Melbourne. They're not scoring a lot, are they? Melbourne 495. Fremantle 542. That's decent. That's decent. So Shai Bolton is one of those players. Still pretty decent Spaniard. I can't lie. Yeah, Toby Green, he's the form he's in at the moment. 14 goals. Deary me, he's back. He's picking up the ball quite a bit. 19 touches as well. Unbelievable, isn't it? I was just looking at this article as well. How ageless veterans and 58-year best are making the Pies better than their flag side. Collingwood again finds itself on an ominous premiership trajectory, and while it's a slightly different side compared to 2023, some metrics might have shifted. The strengths propelling it are near unmatched through 6 games. And their former senior coach, Buckley, believes a particularly sustainable scoring method will continue to hold it in good stead, as well as an improved defensive efficiency that has made it one of the league's stingiest outfits in the early going. So most strikingly, Collingwood's 396 points conceded over the first 6 games is its best start to a season since 1967. Wow. Only Gold Coast, 370 points against, and GWS, 387, have been more defensively stringent this season, with the former having played 1 less home and away game this season. 10-year Collingwood coach Nathan Buckley put his former club's defensive improvements down to improved efficiency and front half heat, rather than any particular change in tactics from the previous year. They talk about pressure and territory a lot, and then pressure in the front half has improved incrementally, I would have thought, and that's essentially where it matters the most. You keep the ball in your forward half, defend well, win the contest. That's why we're seeing this. Ben Zero has gifted 5 Pies Footy memberships. You legend, mate. Welcome, Giga Chad. Welcome, Kynan. Welcome, Chris. Welcome, Magpie Country. And welcome, Janet. All very familiar names there, so deserved members. Thanks, Ben, mate. You're a legend. I appreciate it. Superstar. Channel says, up the Pies. Chat, let's start the Collingwood chant. Huge. Okay, so there's numbers supporting their front half pressure from round 0 through to now. It's on the improve, and then that delays a little bit of the opposition rebound, which gives your backs and midfielders a chance to get in layer, which allows your high backs to get in back behind them. And you've just been really efficient in defending the space and not allowing teams through the middle. Once they do that, it really does set up their intercept game and slow play and their contest game from long down the line. It's pretty much everything we've been talking about as a community, what we're seeing with the changes that Collingwood have had this year on the field. Playing wide, being able to defend the turnover because we're not using the corridor as much, just defending really well as a unit and being competitive in the clearance realm. It was really clear last weekend where they forced Brisbane long down the line. Brisbane got frustrated, tried to plug the ball through the middle a couple of times, and that just means you're turning the ball over in really dangerous positions. You go back and score. If they go long down the line, corridor, Collingwood are able to win that contest and then wrap to their numbers through corridor, which just made their rebound transition footy really damaging because they're coming through the middle of the ground, whereas they're forcing the opposition on the outside. It really is a coaching masterclass, isn't it? But the effort needs to be there. The Magpies are defending opposition clearances better than any side in the competition. They boast the 3rd best rate of preventing scores once their rivals go inside 50 and are the 4th best at defending intercepts. And while some might draw the conclusion it's enhanced buy-in from the players, Buckley believes it comes down to better defensive execution in terms of structural focus and assignments. I think bringing in fresh faces like Membry, Houston, and Perryman, while they all haven't featured together a great deal, I think that brings a new energy as well and even more buy-in. And you see that and you feed off that energy. Pre-existing players see this energy, this freshness, this abundance of freshness in Membry, Houston, and Perryman. They go, hey, I'll buy in even more. I want that. I want that energy. When they see that it's possible, I think that's something you can't underrate. So you consider the front line to cover off and to stop the next uncontested mark in the first phase, but then you drop in to protect the inside 45 kick on the second phase, I think has been excellent. You see, we are conceding this year. We're conceding uncontested marks and giving up those first couple easy ones, but we're letting teams chip away, but they're not chipping into the corridor. So we're defending quite well in that regard. I'm just looking at the stats now. Let's see, marks. So we're not a very high marking team, meaning obviously off the turnover we just go. It's sort of always been our method. And opposition averages, if we have a look at total marks, we're in the bottom 8 for conceding the most amount of marks, and they're not really doing much with it, so it's actually fine. It's actually fine. Spaniard says, what's your opinion on starting the Collingwood chant early? I swear it's bad luck. It's supposed to start when we need a lift or the game is practically over. I don't mind. I know it can seem a little bit arrogant and preemptive, but it's cool. I like the sound of it either way. I like to hear it. I'm certainly not starting it. Josh Dacos, Anzac Day medal. Channels the dad, 35 disposals, 5 goals, because why the hell not, says Patrick Donahoe. Hey, I'm with it, mate. I'm with it. Tony says, I don't like the chant early. Don't count your eggs before they hatch. Fair enough. Ramage says, Fly should be leading the coaches' votes. Yeah, it's been an absolute masterclass. He's had to move the needle this year and make some changes, and he's done that, and we're seeing that. So that's what I've loved in seeing with Fly this year. He went from 2023 to 2024, 2023 and 2022, pretty smooth sailing. 24, he got pressed. Teams figured us out. Things weren't working internally. And he found ways to adapt. Adapt or die. Most opposition marks, I think, are back half. We shut it down once it gets into the forward half, says Stuart. Yes. Correct. They can take as many uncontested marks they like in the defensive half, as long as they're not getting handball receives to break open the game, and as long as they're not finding kicks going into the corridor. So there you go. Let's finish off this article. Where are we at? Also, the other thing that Bucks notes, that if you just watch across the field as the opposition have got the ball in their back half, you see the constant communication and direction and reinforcement of the positioning and little adjustments they're making to cover space and to cover the next potential ball receiver for the opposition. I think they're doing better. I think they're doing that better than anyone else at the moment. I think those two things are the basis of their defensive output, and that's the experience. That's why you keep these older players on the list. That's why you field the oldest AFL squad in its entirety, in its entire history, because of the organization and formation that you can have when these players are guiding themselves, guiding everyone else around them. And while structural shape is aiding Collingwood's suffocation of rivals, it is getting enhanced performance from key individuals early in the campaign. Per Champion Data's player rating, Steel Sidebottom went from the 221st ranked player in 2024 to number 42 entering round 7. The 34-year-old is averaging nearly 25 touches per game, his best figure since 2019. Braden Maynard has gone from the 103rd ranked player to 60, Bobby Hill from 186 to 89, and Bo from unranked to 109. So goal assists, goals, disposals. We're starting to see it from Bo. We're starting to see it. Do we concede the uncontested marks deep in non-dangerous areas so we can have a tighter zone in our defensive half? Exactly. We're setting up. We're getting behind the ball. We're loading the corridor. We're forcing them to go wide. And then when they turn over the ball wide, we can look inside because we've what's the word? We've congested the middle. So we're going to have numbers in the middle so we can look inside and get our handball going. handball game going on through there. Buckley simply put it down to improved form. You can be in form and out of form. You can as an individual, as a division, as a team. But I just think that Collingwood are in the form at the moment, said Buckley, who coached the Pies to 5 winning seasons and a grand final berth in 2018. The reality is the way they're trying to defend isn't anything new. It's not something that there's probably been a trend away from space defense to man-on-man in the competition to try and take away uncontested marks. But I don't think Collingwood have always been a defend the ground, defend the corridor defense. Well, not always, but have been for a long time. But I think that when you do that well, it's actually a really efficient way to defend. You don't chew up all your energy defending. You actually conserve your energy defending, which allows you a little more gas for contest and offense. And then those players like Sidey, Maynard, Hill, and McCreary, they're all talented players, so they're going to give you lots going the other way. They talk about Darcy Cameron. His 5 intercept possessions per game are considered elite, which is something we're all cognizant of that. We know that. Bucks thinks DC and Billy Frampton have been the aerial constituents in the back half. We've talked at length about how DC plays almost as another key defender, which is why we're thriving. A big reason as to why we're thriving. This is a massive article. I can't lie. Guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. I've got to get ready. I'm heading to the G. I can't wait. Hopefully we come back to the post-game show around 6:30. I think I've got it listed for 6:30. Once we get back, post-game show. And hopefully we come back with a win. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Benzira again, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships, mate. I always appreciate the support on the channel. And thanks everyone for joining us today. And we'll see you a little bit later in the evening.